You are now listening to Rings Kings Boxing World Flash Report.
All right, so enough of that. Let's get to this one, fam. This was another really solid fight right here. Moses Itauma took on the veteran Franklin, and a lot of people was looking at this fight, man, and just thinking about how good Moses Itauma is. Now, fam, listen. This was a very interesting fight, to be honest with you, because I was watching Moses Itauma. I know he would eventually dispatch the likes of Jermaine Franklin. And I just was wondering, and a lot of people were saying either 4 or 5 rounds. I was thinking the same thing, maybe 5 or 6 rounds, he'll get him up out of here. But I knew he would knock him out. A lot of people said that he took shots from some other heavyweights, whether it was AJ or Dante, whatever the case may be, he stood those shots and still was able to be in there. But obviously, Moses Itauma is a different type of punching power, right? He most certainly is. And I think this was a very good performance. You were able to see, and I credit Jermaine Franklin for giving us some insight to watch, Moses Itauma work. Him able to, and I was like, wow, he didn't look tired. I know he's going in the 5th and 6th round, but power in both fists. He's very active fighter, like a big welterweight in there throwing punches. His punch power don't fade. Everything he hits you with hurt. You can see when Moses Itauma was hitting Jermaine Franklin in the stomach area, it was adding up. You can see it, and then the shots was throwing off Franklin's timing. You could see it because shots that he would usually kind of time, he couldn't get the timing quite right. And maybe as the fight wore on, he did get him with a shot or two here or there, but it was nothing to keep Moses Itauma off of him. I mean, he punished him, man. He punished him. A career best performance, and they consider Jermaine Franklin a durable fighter. But man, that was a big stoppage because, and like I said, Franklin's a tested heavyweight fighter, which means he's ready for the next level of heavyweights, dispatching him and Dylan White in the same way. And I'm just watching the fight saying to myself, man, this kid is serious. Now, I'm not saying that he was a bum or none of this kind of stuff, because I know Moses Itauma. I watched his fights and I know that he's a good young fighter, but getting the ring experience is very important. And and you look at what he did to Franklin and Dylan White and some of these other fighters, trying to see what his IQ in the ring is. The guy is just phenomenal, man. Closing the distance on fighters, stepping in and out, uppercuts, hooks, straights, everything hurts when you're talking Moses Itauma. Now, listen, this is how the fight ended in the 5th round, TKO, and he knocked Jermaine Franklin out on his feet. He was gone. If you ever seen a fight, he crashed him, and Franklin was, he was violating. He came in landing or leaning into it. And when Moses came with the wrath of God, so to speak, he brung that serpent staff up there. Bam. You got Jermaine Franklin leading into it. And when that happens, he felt every bit of the power. He was leaning into the hook. And Moses Itauma was smart enough to know to throw that hook and know that if I hit this hook right here, there ain't nothing he can do about it. And you can see the way he hit him, he kind of turned his head a little bit, and boy, it was a vicious, nasty hook that he was out on his feet. And then Moses just kind of gave him that extra love tap to get him down. And when he hit the ground, the referee just threw his arms up. He knew right away he wasn't coming out of that. He sure wasn't. You can count to 100. Franklin wasn't getting up. So yeah, this was an excellent fight. That was a devastating left uppercut that put Franklin face down on the canvas, man. You needed smelling sauce to get him up. But the punch stats that come around for this was Moses Itauma landed 41 total punches, right? That's 23% on that. His power punches, he landed 27 power punches at 26% and 13 jabs at 17%. Jermaine Franklin, 15 total punches landed, 29%. Power punches only 7, that's 39%. And jabs, which is 9, which is 27%. But Franklin, in limited spurts, was able to get some action with Moses Itauma, but not enough to make any real difference. Now, he dropped him, and credit to Jermaine Franklin, because this is his first time in his pro career that somebody dropped him, right? He dropped him in the 3rd, and then he finished him in the 5th. So it was something else, but he was focused. You can see the game for Moses Itauma is he was focusing on Jermaine Franklin's body. He was punishing in his body, which was when somebody punishes the body, then that slows down the punch frequency. It also starts the fighter from all that excessive movement. They don't want to move no more because that body hurting. And so he knew that if I punish his body, in which he did 24 body shots that really hurt him, that kind of dropped those arms and kind of opened them up to make him more susceptible for those brutal uppercuts that eventually was going to come. So it's a very simple strategy that Moses Itauma came into the fight, right? And he's just a brutal puncher, man. Power. I mean, he's quick. He's, you know, like I said, this is just basically seeing what he's doing in the ring. Nobody's being able to take him, you know, consistently deep into the rounds before stoppages occur. But to get tested, but man, listen, he was spectacular, man. I was really impressed with Moses Itauma and what he did in the ring, man. And I thought he did a very good job here. But let's hear what Moses Itauma had to say post-fight, man, because that was a really solid win. And what is his prospects of who he's going to fight next? Let's hear from him after the fight.
Still unbeaten. A few more rounds, which everyone wanted, Moses, but still unbeaten, and a fantastic shot to finish proceedings here in Manchester.
No, thank you very much, Eddie. Listen, I want to say thank you very much for the great Manchester crowd. I've had a lovely time here, man. Man, I'm happy to get the win. The Lord is good. I've enjoyed my stay in Manchester. This is actually where I won my first ever national title. So we come here. Well, what's that? 7 years later, I'm picking up a win against Jermaine Franklin. I've done something that other British heavyweights that have gone on to achieve great things didn't do. So I've got to give thanks to the Most High, and I've got to thank Jermaine Franklin as well for giving me this opportunity, because it takes two to tango. So I'm appreciative, man. Thank you very much, everyone.
Humble man. Shout out to that young brother.
How did you find it in there, Moses? Your last few fights haven't gone very, very long. The last one only went a minute or so. How did you find it in there, going a few rounds with a guy that's never been stopped, a guy that came to fight, a guy that was throwing hands with you as well?
Oh man, I don't know what to say. The Lord is good, huh? Listen, I tried to knock him out in the first and second round, trying to win some few people some dough, but I just feel like maybe not today. So I went back to the basics, switch it, go down to the body, and then the knockout just came. So it's not the shots that you load up with, but it's the shot that you don't see.
We've not seen you in the ring for a while. The last time was August. Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. This must feel good to be back in the ring, to be back in the UK, where you're going to grow and grow and grow and eventually get to a stadium fight. It must be good to fight in front of your fans.
Listen, when I first turned professional, I thought I was able to win titles, but I didn't think that it's going to be so soon. So I'm just a young boy chasing a dream.
And we're chasing this dream with you, and it's good to follow it. When you knock out someone that's never been stopped before, Moses, you know what's going to happen. You know what people are going to start to say. Who next? That's why I'm in the ring to ask you, Moses.
That's
Francis,
right.
Frank, and everyone can gather. We can all gather around the table
Bring
here.
Frank in there.
Who's next?
Who is next, Frank or Moses? Anyone can answer this question, because they want to see something big. You've got the whole stable, Frank.
Talk to him,
Who
Frank.
next for this young man?
He'll be out again probably in July.
Okay, Frank, come on.
And we'll be announcing so once we sit down, we look at a few things. He's number one in the WBO. He's number one in the WBA. So there's a lot of fights happening over the next few months.
Come on,
and
Frank.
He'll sort something out. Don't worry, it'll be a big fight because he's a big fighter. You know, so exciting. Fought a very tough guy, broke him down and did what nobody else has been able to do. You stop him.
The belts are all held up by two men, Oleksandr Usyk and Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley obviously takes on Daniel Dubois here, May 9th, another sold-out show. Oleksandr Usyk's got the rest of the belts. In order for this man to fight for a title, what needs to happen? Does Usyk need to vacate? Or do we see Moses potentially against the big man?
Well, Usyk's fights in Egypt, isn't he, is it June? In June, after that fight, he'll be ordered to fight to defend his WBC title, which is against Ajit Caballero. And if he doesn't do that, he'll get stripped. And then the next organisation will order him to defend his belt. He's got to defend his mandatories. That's what they're all there for, to be done. So I'm pretty confident he'll fight for the world title this year. Very confident.
Okay.
Moses, I know you know the lay of the land. So, you know who the best heavyweights are. You are
Frank
one of the best
slick,
heavyweights.
but he gave some giblets
I know you
there.
have a name, Moses. You might not want to tell me now, but I know you have a name of someone that you want to fight. Who do you want to fight next, Moses?
If I be completely honest with you, I wanted a Hrgovic fight, but he's boxing Dave Allen, so I don't know. We'll go back to the drawing board, see who's there, see who's available, and I'll be back out soon.
I want to quickly bring in Francis. Francis, you've looked after this man since he...
All right. So anyway, and this is the thing, man, when you talk about what Frank was talking about, Frank bringing him in there to talk about it, he made the mention of Usyk. Usyk is not really a option right now if you're talking about fighting this year, but Fabio Wardley is. Fabio Wardley is. Fabio has a belt, and Usyk has 2 mandatories, which means he'll have to fight sometime later in the year. You're not going to get another fight with Usyk that soon. And the list of fighters that Oleksandr Usyk gave out, he didn't have Moses Itauma on there. You know, I think he has 3 or 4 fights left before he retires. He's already let that be known. And, you know, like he said, those are the guys tying up the belt, and Fabio Wardley. Fabio Wardley and Moses Itauma would be a tremendous fight, not only for Europe and Britain, but for the U.S. to see those guys fight, because they have box office draw. Their style would be ridiculous. Fabio Wardley was able to beat Joseph Parker in a sensational fight where they just 2 gladiators in there, and he just knocked Joseph Parker out. We seen what Itauma did to Franklin. So at the end of the day, you would probably want the Fabio Wardley. Notice Frank didn't mention that. Frank kind of went at the Oleksandr Usyk. I think Wardley, if he's saying he will fight, and he most certainly will, I think the Wardley and Itauma fight will be the next fight that happens between them for a belt. And I think ultimately once that happens, we go from there, because Oleksandr Usyk is fighting someone, and and it's just simply is what it is. So if you just want to keep Moses Itauma fighting, you want to keep him active and keep fights going. Like, he's a fighter that can fight 3 times in the same year. He can do that. His fights, as you can see, he took no damage. He could fight literally right after they finished talking another full fight. He can do that. So you want to keep a fighter like this going, another 2 fights, fighting 3 times in the same year. This is the first one in March. You get another one in July, another one later on in the year, just to keep him going. Now, the Hrgovic fight would be interesting, but I think he has a matchup already, so you probably would go down the line and see what fighters would be available for him to fight. So, and it'll be interesting, but remember, you still have the Fabio Wardley will have the Dubois fight. He's going against Donabite Dubois. That's in May. So if Frank talking about a fight in July, it's not going to be Wardley. It more than likely be some other fighter that they'll line him up with. Who knows? Another fight. We'll see who it is that he'll say it'll be a good fight, but it probably won't be. The July fight will be a championship fight. More than likely, it'll be a fight later toward the back of the year. So anyway, regardless of how it looks, I'm interested to see, and we'll be locked in on this young fighter, Moses Itauma, and his journey, man, going forward into the boxing world for the rest of the remaining year, man. It's going to be fun. watching him fight. So anyway, that's all I got for you guys listening on this episode of Ring Kings Boxing World. Y'all feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, the share button, and notification bells on everything boxing. I am Big Q, representing the Boxing Nation. And remember, Ring Kings Boxing. Ring Kings Boxing World, man. Boxing news that packs a punch. Y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and by all feel free to hit the notification bell as well for future content. With that being said, I'm going to holler at you on the next one. Much love. Peace. I'm out.
Subscribe now and make Ring Kings Boxing your source for all the latest fight news.
Hey, New Orleans. Whether you're catching up on Saints news at Jackson Square, checking Pelicans scores in the Garden District, or staying updated on LSU while grabbing coffee in the French Quarter, there's one place that keeps you connected to everything that matters in our city. From Bourbon Street to the Superdome, from Preservation Hall to the Riverfront, New Orleanians are staying in the know with the whotdatdaily.com. Your daily source for Saints, Pelicans, LSU, and all the sports, music, and culture that makes our city special. At work downtown, at a game in the Dome, or just relaxing by the Mississippi, wherever life takes you in the Big Easy, you can stay connected. Because when you're from New Orleans, you don't just live here. You stay in the NO. That's stay in the know. Visit the whotdatdaily.com and never miss what matters most to Who Dat Nation.
Welcome to the Pro Shop, where we create authentic NOLA-inspired clothing for men, women, and children. From Saints jerseys to Pelicans gear, everything's crafted right here in New Orleans. Whether you're shopping the Pro Shop, the Pel Shop, or the Pro Shop Kids, we've got your whole family covered with genuine merchandise that represents our city's spirit. Check for links in the description section below or in the chat.